Declaration about freeing the slaves, liberating, and all that. But then you go back to his predicate, and it was people using force to enslave others. So once you get down to the root of the issue and you find where the original, let's say, catalyst for that series of decisions originates, you can look at it whether force or persuasion is being used, and that usually determines who the guys are and the good guys.
Thank you, Ulrich. CEO?
Yeah, good point. Again, I think this is a really, really good discussion, right? And I wanted to make two quick points. The first one with regards to patriotism and us having different views of what it is. I just wanted to say the same thing happens in it. There's thousands of denominations, and some people historically have used systematic Christianity for terrorism, have used Christianity for subjugation of people of other colors throughout history. So I even think now the way that we have Christian nationalism, where Christ was friendly to foreigners, but people who use the Christian banner aren't friendly to foreigners. So I think how we look at these words is important. And patriotism does literally blend right in with culture. So a lot of times we're saying patriotism, but we're really saying our particular sex, group, and history. We're not relating it to American ideas. That's the first point I want to make. Second point, if I could, was what JB said earlier when he was discussing how detrimental the social media lack of guardrails has impacted our young people and our country. And the question that lady asked, I think Mike and Steve, where she was talking about what happens if there's foreign influence in a podcast and so forth and so on. And I just wanted to offer a solution because we kind of sort of have it right on the tip of the conversation that what I happen, which is the purpose of government to protect the people, is there should be labeling on all media in specific ways. And that's something that government can do, should do to protect the people. Because I think there's a lot of people that are ignorant to truth from fact. And some people are exploiting that concept. So simply put, what that would look like is there's a lot of entertainment journalism where there's no, truth barometer. And they can say anything they want because they're just giving an opinion. It's not true journalism. And most people confuse that with what the truth is, right? So even from what last part of that point, so I think removing the anonymity on who's influencing these voices that are influencing our people is important, and it's something.
Yeah, but CEO, let me just say this, and don't beat up. Let's have the conversation, right? Government forced TikTok to sell because they said it was influencing all these kids. Do you really believe, in all honesty, that the American government is going to be less influential on these kids than the Chinese government was by owning TikTok?
Well, JB, I think it's a really good question. I'll let the room answer, but my quick response would be there's more than that whole deal than meets the eye. Because there's groups of people that are consolidating media power to control the government. Like that's always been. The pen is, hey, Mike is a noble fighter for the country and defended it, but the pen has always been mightier than the sword. And I think there's a literal attempt to grab all of these media entities to control the hearts and minds of people. And so with the TikTok deal, I think it's a lot deeper than just which party or country owns it. I think there are more nefarious things happening.
Go ahead, JB. Go ahead.
No, Steve, I'll go after you. Then we're going to welcome Tunes to.
Sure. Sir, I agree with everything that you said in principle. The problem is that you shouldn't and you can't legislate stupidity. You are absolutely sorry.
That's it. I appreciate your point. You're right.
Let me finish briefly. It's an old cliche, but it's very true. You cannot legislate stupidity. You are also right where there's a huge disconnect in the country today. It's been going on for a while of people who cannot distinguish opinion from fact. Last but not least, and I'll land it here, when you say some. I'll paraphrase, some of our journalists are entertainers. Most all of our journalists are entertainers. In fact, if you go to Fox News, Sean Hannity and that group and everything, they're not listed as journalists. They're listed as entertainers. The last true journalist that we really had was Walter Cronkite, 1980, most trusted man in America. After him, Ted Koppel. Those are two of my idols, and which I model myself after, because very rarely did either one of them ever give their opinion. You want to know if someone's being journalistic or right? Listen to how often, if at all, they say, I think. It doesn't matter what a reporter thinks. He's supposed to report the facts. And yes, you're absolutely, I'll stand by it, and I'll close again with this. You cannot legislate stupidity.
Yeah, but let me just ask this question.
Respond to what Steve just said. Hey, Steve, just literally watch the feud between Sean Hannity and guy Ted. Shout out to Ted Koppel and Walter Cronkite and real journalists that did what they did, man. I miss those days more than anything, and that's where JB is right for whatever it's worth. But why don't we, Steve, if you guys get to this, because I don't want to interrupt the next person, but they should have entertainer listed on the big challenge, and we can do the same thing to some extent with some aspect of social media. We do need to create guardrails, and that's within the scope of what the government should and can do.
But here's the thing, and I don't know if it's pushback, and that's just my opinion. But Steve, when you say they should interpret, like to me, January 6th, I have my opinion, and then Mike has a different opinion. But are facts objective?
Okay, and here's protesting on the Capitol lawn. That's another fact. It's not in dispute. Now, whether or not they were patriots, whether or not they broke the law by going into the Capitol, those are all opinions. However, the fact that they did go into the Capitol by breaking doors and breaking windows, that is also a fact that is not in dispute. Whether or not they were right, wrong, good, or bad, there are your opinions.
See, I think the reason this kind of reporting exists is because
it's because it sells. It's because it sells. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's an old saying, and I'm filled with cliches. If it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah, and it's too bad because I think Washington, and I think my country as well, Ottawa, I don't think the people up here in Ottawa, they don't think about the second, third, fourth order consequences of this type of media. They don't think of the long-term consequences of this sort of thing on culture. I mean, I'm kind of a hard ass. I think, sugar-filled cereals shouldn't be sold to kids either. Why? What does it do? First order consequence, yeah, it makes the company a lot of money. Oh, the kids love it. But second, third, fourth order consequence, it's no good for anybody.
Let me jump in here real quick, guys. I'm going to do a quick room reset. Guys, these unhealthy debates. The victim mentality of Americans. The reason I came up with this room, because I was in a couple of rooms earlier this morning, and all I heard was complaining. It's our fault. No, it's the Democrats' fault. Just the constant complaining and whining. We've cultivated this mentality of victimhood. It's everybody else's fault. Nobody wants to look in the mirror. Nobody wants to really have the conversations of how do we fix it instead of complaining about it. Let me say good morning to LS. Good morning, LS. Haroon, good to see you, Haroon. Vero, that is a beautiful picture, Vero. You look amazing. Judith, good morning. Deb, how you doing? Pink ticket, please cash it in. Mandy, Al, Amin, please cash in your tickets. I don't open rooms often, but when I do, we have great conversations. Guys, we're going to go popcorn style. If you want to grab the mic, please do. Just please respect the one mic policy. Thank you.
Journalism 101A. Who, what, when, where, it used to be why. Who, what, when, where, why. The five, who, what, when, where, and maybe even why. Journalism 101A says when you report, you get 3 independent sources that you trust that all agree on the fact, the undisputed information. As soon as you get into right, wrong, good, bad, I think, that is not journalism. That is op-ed, opinion, editorial. Okay? That's how you become a better critical thinker, as the gentleman said a few minutes ago. being able to distinguish fact from opinion. I've got about 12 different news sources that unfortunately provide me over 100 emails a day. I delete over 90% of them just when I see the subject. The ones I choose to look at, even if it's from a reliable source, I will then spend extra time going to other reliable sources to verify A, if the information is correct, and B, what part of the information is correct. When I'm satisfied that I have the facts, and then when I've looked at the opinions, I come to my own conclusions and my own opinions. That's why most of the time whenever you hear me here or on Clubhouse, I will do my best, not always, but I will do my best to say, this is my opinion, because the last thing I want to do, this is just me, is to tell somebody that something is a fact. For example, I talked about Marco Rubio coming over from Cuba like an hour ago, and the gentleman corrected me and said, no, he was born in America. It was family that came. I said, you're right. I made a mistake, and I completely admitted it. So there you have it.
Well, thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. Lawful Man, are you there? Lawful Man?
Yes, I am. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm well, sir. I have a question for you, because I have or is it even broken in your opinion?
The system is broken, but we need to hold our elected public officials responsible for their improper actions when they represent a beneficial position. I think that's the biggest issue with our judiciary, or to do their jobs ineffectively, or to bring their own personal opinions into what's supposed to be effectively done on a fair shake state, especially when you're dealing with the judicial system. However, we know that they practice a lot of things that are profit-based.
Let me ask you a follow-up question, if I may. Why do we have a system in place, right? And I could be wrong. You know, you're the lawyer, I'm not, but I'm just going from lived experience, where prosecutors have pretty much carte blanche to do what they want without any repercussions. How do we fix that?
Well, this is the wild part. They don't just have carte blanche. They're just very difficult to hold them responsible, because they're all part of a buddy system. And it has to be a gross miscarriage or a gross, it's got to be like so, and it has to be a pattern. So it can't just be one thing. It has to be a repetitive pattern, provable, for time for you to hold a jurist responsible for their actions.
But let me ask you this.
They have to be able to prove intent.
Let me ask you this. I think it's politically motivated, right? And I just want to get your opinion. What do you think of the prosecution of Letitia James?
If she violated the law, she ought to be held responsible. Any public official, every public official ought to be held responsible for their violations of the law, especially when you're going to sit on the administrative processes and execute them against the other citizens of society. As a matter of fact, you should be held to a higher standard simply because you're a public official.
Thank you, sir. Guys, we're going to go popcorn style. If anybody wants to grab the mic, you're more than welcome to. Just please respect the one mic policy. John Kitover, what's up? Did you win your election?
I thought his election was until next year, November next year. No.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was this year.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Well, he's on stage. Let's find out. John Kitover, how you doing?
Good. I challenged Darren LeBook yesterday. He challenged me, and the election is March 17th, 2026.
Oh, yeah? How many votes did you get in this past election?
It wasn't votes. It was petitions, and I got 1,650 out of 1,550, so we exceeded by 100. And guess what? The incumbent, the congressman, is 500 signatures short for appearing on the March 17th ballot. So it goes to court, and I have to get an attorney, and there are 2 challenges against me. And so in about 10 days, this all goes to trial to find out who's on the ballot.
See, here's America. You got John Kitover, who's batshit crazy. He's going to be a congressman. Welcome to America, people.
is really about ballot access. I encourage everyone here to run for Congress. You realize it's a very small world. It's me versus a Republican and a no name nothing Democrat, just like me, going against a guy that has $10 million, has every attorney that he can afford, and they literally kick you off the ballot. And they themselves are guilty of what they accuse you of doing.
Johnny Boy, check this out. Since I was one of your larger political donators, I will expect some kickbacks and some favors when you become a congressman. So I'm making that publicly known. But we can talk about that offline.
I mean,
because that's how the American system works. I pat your back, you pat my back.
The victory for me is just getting on the ballot. This isn't my first time doing this, and getting on the ballot is extremely difficult. The lawyers, the judges, everything is fixed against the grassroots candidate.
Well, I'll tell you what, America has for a long time really needed a legitimate third party, but the systems that are in place, the politicians that are in place, the mechanisms that are in place, that's not a reality. That's never going to happen. So we have to pick, I guess, the lesser of two evils.
I do wonder sometimes if, a democratic capitalist system is the very, very, very best system. I mean, that's what we're told from the time we're born. That's what we assume. But man, JV, I went to Dubai there, and they've got less natural resources than we have in Canada. And everybody in Dubai is given a fucking free house, like the Emirati people. Probably, if our government did it the same way, we'd have mansions.
Matthew.
Hold on, Sabina. You know what, man?
Yeah.
People here in America, right? We have this victim mentality where we'll complain about it as being a capitalist country.
I do think we probably do have the best system, but Dubai was interesting because their government's just like build, go for it.
Isn't it fair to say, though, that capitalism in general evolves and that potentially every single democracy ends up being fascism? Regardless, the capitalism aside, every democracy ends up being fascism because of the way that they operate, because of the oligarchy, and because of the way that the government takes control. So over time, as it matures, it becomes problematic. There isn't a better solution because potentially all the other forms of government become problematic as they age as well.
Yeah.
So saying that potentially there could be no alternative, but democracy keeps resetting itself over and over again, which is why democracies in the past have failed. There's no reason that ours is going to be different.
Right. It does seem like that. Like, for example, post-World War II, North America here, we had a massive boom. Everybody was excited. We're in the atomic age now. The troops are home. Everybody had babies, baby boomers, and it was kind of an optimistic time, I guess, not for everyone, but for a lot of folks. And I think, it might be the same thing there that's going in Dubai. They're through their boom stage. It might not be the specific type of government or type of economic system, but the stage that it's at, right? So
exactly. I mean, we're the advanced one, so.
Hold on.
Yeah, we're kind of old now, right? Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. So I wanted to welcome Bima to the stage. Bima, how you doing?
Good morning, everyone. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm my best life. I was happy to see you come into the room. Now, you and I have built a little bridge where we could be respectful to each other. And then I looked in your profile. It says, donate to Gaza. You know that money, whatever money people are going to donate is going to be stolen. You know that, right?
Are you sure, though, JV?
100%. But go ahead.
How do you know?
How do you know? Because the leadership of Hamas lives in 5-star hotels in Qatar. That's how I.
Yeah, but they still got any more power there? I don't know if they do.
Of course they do, bro.
They do?
Of course they do.
Well, maybe you know more than me. I don't know.
Matthew, I have common sense.
I guess my only response would be, shit's going to happen, but I don't think that should stop us from supporting people that we still want to live, you know what I mean, that aren't part of a part of the problem. And if that's the only, if that's the only opportunity that we have, I think that, I personally, I think we should do it.
How much have you donated to Gaza? Oh, she went on the phone.
No, I ignored that, JB. What are you talking about? This is too spicy. I put that on mute. Echo, wait. Do you know, I worry about talking about specifics with money and things on here because people have threatened me with certain things. So I would say that
I apologize for
not you. No, that wasn't you. No, that was not you. I was not actually referring to you. But other people have on this topic, and so I'll just have to voluntarily refrain just for my own safety.
I totally respect that. I'm sorry that you got threatened, man. People on this app, I spoke about it earlier, Bima. I think the downfall of society is social media, and that there's no guardrails. People could say, do what they want, radicalize, do all this crazy shit. And you know what happens is, I'll give you an example. You got idiots like Luigi Mangione who assassinated the healthcare CEO. Whatever you think of healthcare, I think it's a reprehensible system and it fucks people's lives up. But to murder somebody. But if you go on social media, this kid, half the population think he's a fucking idol. And they send him money, they send him naked pictures, they send him 500 pieces of mail a week because these idiots get radicalized online. There's no guardrails.
JB, that's only because he's not a 65-year-old fat man like me.
I totally agree. Uncle Steve,
I want to see pictures of Steve.
No way. But JB, no, I totally agree with you. I was absolutely I was shocked when that happened. Hey, there's a good interview with Eric Weinstein and the British guy. What's his name? Piers Morgan. I think you would like it. It's sort of on the topic, but yeah, I think you might be interested in that, JB.
Thank you. I like Piers Morgan. CEO?
Hey, JB, what do you think about, you guys talking about the Middle East, real time right now, our administration is welcoming in the president of Syria, who's been active as a member of Al-Qaeda and been active in killing U.S. soldiers throughout the years. Yet, the current administration is basically welcoming him in with the red carpet and open arms. What are your thoughts?
I think today's enemies are tomorrow's friends, CEO. I think look what happened after World War II. We welcomed the Japanese are some of our strongest allies. Same thing with the Germans. I mean, what he did was reprehensible, but we have to break the cycle somehow. And by breaking the cycle, that means we have to sit down with reprehensible people. Just my opinion. Hold on, Poodle. Let me say good morning to Joe. Joe, good morning. Joe Sahawa.
House, what's your reaction? You're gonna say the enemy of the past, the friends now?
No. Well, I have my own personal opinions, but Hamas is a terrorist organization that.
Well, he was a terrorist.
You asked the question. Please let me answer it. That their main purpose is to eliminate all Jews in the world. So I'm against it. And that ideology is not going to change. People change, Joe. Ideologies change. Situations change. Am I happy that the president of Syria, who is at one point was an unknown terrorist? No. But what are we supposed to do? Allow the killing to continue? Allow the slaughter of innocent people to continue? We have to break bread with somebody. And, at some point we got to pick the lesser of two evils.
Could you verify when you say killing of innocent people, are you talking about which people, if you don't mind me to ask?
Any country in the Middle East, Syrian people were innocent. They were killed. Innocent Jews. I'm not with what. At some point, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, with hoping for different results. And I think what's going on over in Gaza, I think it's just enough. I just think it's enough. It's overkill, if you ask me. Just my opinion.
I respect that. I'm pro-Palestinian, but I don't care about Palestine or Israel. I want the United States first. That's my concern. I want the people think about the United States, America first, not Israel. I need just the people to wake up and put our money inside our country, not elsewhere. Do you agree with that, GB? Do you put United States first or Israel?
I'm American first before anything. I woke up today, I'm American. I'm paying my tax dollars to America. But I also know that, listen, there's people way smarter than me that do these strategies. I know that Israel's our biggest ally for whatever reasons. over in the Middle East. So we have to placate them at some point. Steve, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, to the comment, and I think I've spoken with this gentleman before, but if not, I humbly apologize. When he says we should keep all our money in the United States, I suspect part B to that is we shouldn't be spending our money outside of the United States and with other countries. He can respond after I quickly finish. If we want to keep being the world's policeman, which, by the way, I advocate simply because it keeps the country safer. If we want to continue being the world's policeman, we do have to spread our money around. We do have to have eyes and ears on the entire planet. So when you say we should keep our money inside the country, if that means we should not be spreading it around the world to be the world's policeman and keep our country safe, I am against that, sir.
If I can ask you a question, Steve.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So Condoleezza Rice, I could post a video in the chat, right? I'm so curious to hear what you think, because Condoleezza Rice has said that we can't be the police. This is her speaking, right? I'll post it in the chat. She's saying we can't be the police of the world, but great empires are not allowed to be isolated, right? So there needs to be like an in-between. Do you think there should be like an in-between? What are your thoughts?
What does she say?
Afghanistan? I'm just curious.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I think her critique is important, because I think what she's saying is that we should not be involved 100%, because I don't think that America, there's no superpower that can go into a nation just completely transform the whole thing. That's
well, in what you said, I agree. We should. There are 209 or 200 nations around the world. I agree. We should not be policing all of them. In fact, I think the only police that we should be doing is within our country. But should we exert our influence? Should we have eyes and ears on what's going on? Should we keep an eye on the Middle East, because arguably it's the breeding ground for terrorism? Arguably, it's the breeding ground for terrorism. And terrorism generally, when it's done, or when it starts, it's either it occurs in the European Union and NATO, where we are obligated to put boots on the ground because we have sworn to defend NATO. So I agree with your interpretation of Condoleezza Rice. We should not be policing other countries, but we absolutely should have eyes and ears on them. That's what I.
Just one second. One second.
Everybody mute up. Thank you. Because I have to shout out Vero. Vero, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
I'll smack this shit out of every nigga in this room right now.
Yeah, you do that. I just want to wish you a happy Veterans Day. If it wasn't for people like you, we couldn't hold conversations like this. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans that it applies to. Matthew, hold on 1 second. Let's go to Joe, and I'll come right back to you. Joe?
I just want to say I totally agree that we have to monitor the war through the CIA, not put billions of dollars. We should also not let the senators talk in behalf of the United States and support Israel. They have to talk about their state. That's my point. And not talk about Israel, and not go to Israel to worship them and get money from a foreign agent like AIPAC. And this is really against the law, should be. But
Joe, let me ask you a question. If we send, I don't know, $500 million to Israel today, where do you think Israel sends that money to? What do you think they do with that money?
Innocent kids, women, war. Yep.
But what they do is they take that money and they pour it back into the American economy. They buy American armaments, munitions. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that money comes back to America. It's not like they put it in their bank account. Hold on, let me finish. It's not like the Hamas leadership that puts it in their bank account.
Yeah, can you show me the bank account details? Do you have any proof? Or you just throw this word right there?
Well, Joe.
You don't have proof. So you don't have proof, right? Say yes or no. You have proof,
okay.
Yes or no?
I don't have to prove nothing to you.
Exactly. Okay. So you don't have proof. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. because these people who've never had a job in their fucking life have billions of dollars in their bank accounts. Tell me how that happened. There's the proof.
I don't want even the United States to support Palestine, dude. Like, you don't still understand.
I understand you're a fucking moron, and you don't come into my space with that type of fucking energy. How about that? Get Matthew.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, on a very practical level, ignoring what's right or wrong or something like that. If you look at the relationship between the United States and Israel, it's basically similar to Japan. After World War II, Japan was like the United States' permanent Air Force carrier in Asia, and Israel is the United States' permanent Air Force carrier in the region with a lot of oil, gas and oil. Okay, but Sabina is right. You cannot, and if you look back through history, this is the case. You cannot sustain military bases and overstretch yourself for a sustained amount of time.
There with you Canadians, in between between you two Canadians, enough. We get it, Canadian.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's if you look at the Spanish Empire, you look at the Dutch Empire, you look at the British Empire, all these guys, especially like the Spanish, they had fucking bases in the Philippines and Mexico and Europe and the Arab Peninsula. And this was like 400, 500 years ago. And this drained their pockets. And what happened is that the Spanish stopped creating things, having factories. They imported everything. There's a very specific, very common trend that's happening here, and that's why a lot of politicians are saying, look, you got to maintain power across the world, but you got to do it strategically, and you got to balance the budget when you're doing it, or it's just not sustainable. Yeah, for any country ever in history, ever in the world.
Thank you very much. So we can continue this stimulating conversation, but this guy has to go because I have in real life things to do. I'll leave it up to Steve, CO, and Mike if they want to continue the room. If not, I'm just going to shut it down. Steve, CO, or Mike?
Mike, how long you hanging out?
I believe he's on the phone.
Yeah, the room.
No, I'm not. I'll be here. I'll be here. I mean, I'm hanging out for a while. I'm working and listening.
Okay, I'll be here till the top of the hour, so Mike and CO can tell. I'll be here for 15 minutes.
I just don't want to leave the room, so I don't have to be Steve or CO because I'm working.
All right, so what's the guys?
The room if JB's not going to be here.
Yeah,
we can shut it down. Let's shut it down.
Let's shut it down. Before we go, JB, thank you for holding another fantastic space. Mike and all the veterans out there, once again, appreciate your service. Thank you very much. And with that, I'll just say be careful on the clubhouse.
Yeah, thanks, JB. Thanks for hosting it. I like seeing you here. Try to come out more often.
Well, listen, my mental health has to come into play. So anyway, guys, have a great day. Thank you for coming in, and appreciate you. Happy Veterans Day to the vets.
work come through for us?
Not make money.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing.
Why TikTok? It takes a long time to monetize TikTok. It's going to take a long.
Adjuster for it and everything. I'm so
No fucking way!
I'm so
No way!
That's rapping these days.
That shit cool.
No, I'm just funny.
That's presentation.
That is cool. The cool part is
Delivery, presentation, cadence.
Right. I'm not so old that I'm hella old, but I'm old enough to know Behind is not rapping. So it's like, damn.
Incredible state.
Not to mention the nigga's song name is. His name is the song's name is Doot Doot, nigga.
What?
I know you know New York drill songs that got dumber titles.
But yeah, no, that's a fact. I hate drill music. I hate drill music because it's so negative, so catchy.
It got catchy. Yeah.
I think the problem is, like, as adults, we hear and we hide our wisdom because we don't want the idiots to know that we're not stupid, so we hide our wisdom. And then, like, the dumbasses come up behind us. I think if we hid less, no, I'm saying, like, if we hid less of our wisdom, because, like, I can see this shit.
Who are the idiots? Who are the idiots?
Hit Dog Hollow.
Oh no, man!
Most of you not too much again. Like, if you're hiding shit, like, what's going on?
You're so annoying.
Well, what's going on is I'm talking to Luca or Marion or whatever the fuck his name is. That's what the fuck is happening.
Don't talk.
Give me a second, please. Anyway, but who are the idiots?
Name names. Oh, name names. Nah, I mean,
like,
just
who are like the adults, like me, you, and everybody else?
No, of course not.
Who are they? Like, what are you talking about?
So I'm talking about a real state of affairs. We're like, we live in a world where there's a real state of affairs. If what you believe is not in congruence with that, you're a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? It's like we live in a world where things are true, where there's a real state of affairs. If you can't accept that, you're a fucking dumbass, and that's where I come from.
Well, what that gotta mean non-congruent, not incongruent?
What is
Double
your
negative ass nigga? What they gotta do with I put Bell straight too is Behind.
Jesus.
That's your favorite bar the whole long
time. My favorite bar is 6, 7.
Let's get into that though, because I feel like why would a person say that? Is that valid, and what is the context in which he's talking about? You know what I mean?
Niggas is definitely pulling off their belts and
talking about why niggas ass.
I know, because I know of teenagers who have done that to each other, and it's like, that's why. Like, teenagers who have truly, like, because, like, if there's 5 of me and 1 of you.
Nah, Louis is the funniest, bro. Yo, what's the lyrics, Louis? That's the only one I know. Bell straight to his Behind.
I got all. All I know is
Lil Wayne did a remix of that song.
No, what's the lyrics? Right. I know he died.
Like, no, it's this happened. And I was like,
That shit tough.
I just looked up the nigga that made this song. That nigga looks sick, bro.
It really isn't a song your children should be listening to, but he's separating himself from the negative part of it too. He said they asked him what 6'7" mean. He was like, it's just, it came from nothing. Then they brought up his block and it. Maybe
Can you guys hear it?
I think his shit died, probably something like that.
Somebody said, truly, that's the first song that never actually starts. Cap, I get it.
He said it never starts. I'm screaming.
I don't like people start these fucking fads and shit, and they don't make no goddamn sense. You know what I mean?
You don't like when they start what? Or what?
But you just agreed.
I don't like people starting new fads and they don't make no goddamn sense. Did you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, no, now I heard you.
Okay, yeah.
So you mean like, I decided we haven't used the
heard the word fads applied in a while, so I almost forgot.
Oh, my bad.
It means trend.
I'm sorry. I didn't know it's you. But nah, you know how people like start all these new trends and shit? No, we ain't doing none of that shit. What the fuck do it mean?
It's too late.
Because I'm not old. I am.
I know.
What's the new trend?
This 6-7 shit. I guess.
No, what you need to do is you need to be like me. See, I've come to terms with the fact that I'm getting to the age I stopped giving a fuck about that shit.
She's too fine for that.
I want to say 6'7" so bad right now. Impulse control.
Don't say it.
Oh my god.
I'm just losing impulse control to say this shit. That song's corrupt, nigga.
Oh my god.
Listen, as long as my kids don't start saying it, I'm fine. Once they start saying it, then I gotta give a fuck. But up until then, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is anybody doing the matching pajamas thing this year?
That's good. You mean for Christmas or what?
Thanksgiving, Christmas.
No, that's good.
So,
I'm doing this year for Christmas.
I don't know if they have Targets in New York like that, but if they
I just got mine from Target.
Okay, I was gonna say I got a bunch of matching
Get different
pajamas for me and my
pajamas. Be individual.
No.
I literally just got mine from Target.
With my children.
It's Grinch.
A staple every single year.
They have Grinch themed pajamas, and I bought them for my kids, and I bought them for myself. Really cute, actually.
No,
The Grinch. Get the wig with the fake.
Yeah, the Grinch.
He hated Christmas.
I'm everything. I match me.
Yo, Sasha, Grinch is you too.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
We're reindeer.
Nice.
We're reindeer, but no, I match everything. I match me, my boyfriend, my children. Like, whenever there's an opportunity for me to match something, I match it. It's perfect.
Right? I feel the same way.
know.
I've never done it, but I'm gonna do it this year.
You should. It's cute.
Don't inspire me. I'm gonna do it. Me and my baby gonna do this. Fuck it.
No, it's cute.
Yo,
I just have this really adorable photo shoot planned where me and my man, we get dressed up in like, how do I explain? Like, kind of like rednecks, because he kind of has that like aesthetic, and I think
back on redneck.
No, actually, you're not. Like, it's really funny. So, one of my favorite memories of him is when he had to dress up in a toga for Greek night at this place he works at part time, and he looked like Redneck Jesus, and now that's what he is in my phone. That's where I got the idea from.
Did we come to a consensus that redneck is a derogatory term, depending on how you use it?
It has to be a derogatory term, right?
I mean, I guess it can be, but I mean, is it?
It always has been a derogatory term. It never
Is
was.
redneck Jesus derogatory?
Yes.
Why would you include Jesus?
Okay,
That's random as fuck.
Yeah. Why would you?
Okay. The Viking,
No,
like,
because if y'all saw what he looked like, you'd understand why I called him Redneck Jesus. But I'm gonna keep calling him Redneck Jesus because that's what he looks like.
Is that what you call him on the regular, or is he just in your phone like that?
I know. I call him that whenever I want to bug him or get his attention. Whenever I'm like, Hector,
Redneck Jesus is crazy. You don't even like abbreviate it.